Hey guys, so this is going to be a quick video just going over how to divide a whole number by a fraction. All right, so let's take a look at my whiteboard. Let me back it up a little bit. Okay, so you'll see that this word problem says Jackie has 8 pretzel rods and a serving size is 2/3 of a pretzel rod. How many people can she serve? So that's ridiculous that 2/3 of a pretzel rod is 1 serving. You'd think 1 serving would just be a pretzel rod, but in this case, it's not. So we have to go with what the word problem is telling us. So each person only gets 2/3 of a pretzel rod, and she has 8 pretzel rods altogether. So we want to know how many people she can serve. So obviously, if each pretzel rod, she has 8 of them, and 2/3 of 1 rod is a serving, she can obviously serve at least 8 people, but there's still going to be some left over, so we want to find out if she can serve more than 8 people. So all that we have to do here is take the whole. What is the whole that we're working with here? So we have 8 whole pretzel rods, so we are going to do 8, and we want to divide it by how many each serving is, so that's 2/3. So 8 divided by 2/3. So in order to do this, it's really easy. It's the exact same as just dividing 2 fractions. But we know when we have a whole number, all we have to do is imagine it as that number over 1, right? Because this is the same. 8 is the same as 8 over 1. So now we have an actual fraction that we can work with, makes it a lot easier. And then we're going to do our keep, change, flip method, right? So we keep this the same, we change our sign to multiplication, and we flip this second fraction, or we turn it into its reciprocal. So 2/3 changes into 3/2, and then we just multiply across. So we get 8 times 3 is 24, and 1 times 2 is 2. So now we have an improper fraction, and we never want to leave our problems like that. So in order to change this into a mixed number or into a whole number, we're going to set up our division bar, and we're going to pull that numerator inside. Now, how many times can 2 fit into 24? It can fit in 12 times, and there's actually going to be no remainder. So that means that we end up with 12 as our whole number, and our fraction would be 0/2, but 0 over 2. But 0/2 is really just equal to nothing. So our answer would be 12. So she can actually serve 12 people with 8 pretzel rods. So I'm going to actually write out my answer with my label, because we know we always do a label when we have a word problem. So there you go. That is how you divide a whole number divided by a fraction. So let me just do one more example while I have you, just in case you want to see another one. Okay. So now let's do something like 5 divided by 4/6. We have 5 of something, and we want to split it into sections that are 4/6. So we're going to turn our 5 into 5/1. We're going to, so this is keep. We're going to change our sign from division to multiplication, and then we're going to flip our second fraction. Okay, so now we have 5/1 times 6/4, and we end up with 30/4. So again, here we end up with an improper fraction, so all we have to do is change that into a mixed number. I'm going to rewrite it down here because I didn't have a lot of room over here. Okay, so we're going to write our division bar, bring that 30 inside. Now we're going to say, well, how many times does 4 go into 30? It goes in 7 times. 4 times 7 is 28. I'm going to subtract, and we end up with 2. So we're going to circle our 3 numbers. This is our king. So our answer is 7 2/4. I'm running out of room over here. Okay, 7 2/4, but really we could simplify that down to 7.5. Okay. All right, so that is how you divide a whole number by a fraction.